Welcome back to Arkham Internship Video 3. You may remember that, if you can see this, can't see it there, Professor Pyg is an inmate or patient here at Arkham Asylum, and I was able to meet with him and do a clinical interview to try to figure out what to do with him while he's here. First of all, he's been labeled as schizophrenic with a previous diagnosis. Which was thought to have an onset due to his exposure to some of his own chemicals and weird things. So right away, a little suspicious that it was an onset, situational onset schizophrenia, not that that can't happen. A couple of other things that made me think that schizophrenia may not, and in fact is not, the right diagnosis. Number one was his level of violence, massively violent, killing people through surgical gross means. If you want to read it, I'll spare you on that if you want to read the comics about him, but too violent. That population of schizophrenic individuals are not known to be violent. They are actually less likely to be violent than just your average person on the street who is not mentally ill. Also, he's quite socially functional. He set up some pretty elaborate social functions. He joined the Circus of Evil, which was a gang here in Gotham. They all have fun names. That's a great thing about Gotham City. And, one of the things that is typical for schizophrenia, on average, is that there is what's called a negative symptom, a loss of social functionality or social interaction, isolation, things like that. Schizophrenia has what they call negative and positive symptoms. They don't mean good or bad. Negative means you lose something, and positive means you gain something. Gain being relative here. Hallucinations, delusions of that nature. Now, because he is a serial killer, you might assume that he is delusional, and that can be very true. But one of the differential diagnoses, that you always have to look at that. The differential diagnosis is research that indicates that why you might trade one diagnosis for another. And when we look at, we have to watch out for other influences of psychosis or delusion, which can include bipolar disorder, depression, or obsessive compulsive tendencies. And this is very interesting. If you show obsessive compulsive tendencies and you believe that those are true, which is not typical of most people with OCD. Most people are disturbed by their obsessions and their compulsions to some extent and realize that they're out of step with what most people consider reality. But there are people that do believe that those things are true, which is a delusional belief. And I'm seeing a lot more of that with the compulsions. The next video, I'm going to tell you a little bit more what I think is a more appropriate diagnosis for Professor Pyg. Looking forward to that. Bye-bye from Arkham.